Hello. My name is Uncle Sam. And today I have a story for you, titled, The Homeless Girl. Before we get into it, please subscribe, like, and share so we can reach more people. Thank you. Here is the story. Once upon a time in a small city, there lived a small girl named Uju. She was just 12 years old, but in her short life, Uju has seen more hardship than most people could ever imagine. She was homeless and survived by wandering the street of a small city alone, begging for food to survive. Uju never knew her father. It was a taboo for a woman without a husband to get pregnant and have a child outside marriage, and that was the case with Uju's mother, Usana. Usana was one of the most beautiful young ladies in their village, and most young girls envied her because every young man in the village talked about her beauty. Some young ladies who were envious of her set her up. She was raped and fell pregnant and gave birth to Uju. Knowing the village traditions, Usana left the village to a nearby city. Uju's world came crashing down one fateful evening when she saw her mother, who was begging on the roadside, got knocked down by a hit-and-run vehicle. She died on the spot. Her mother, her only family and source of comfort in this world, had been taken from her in a tragic car accident, right in front of her eyes. A good Samaritan who saw what happened took the mother's lifeless body to the hospital, but nobody paid any attention to Uju. That evening, Uju, who has been sitting on the motor park bench, the place she usually sits and wait for her mother to beg for food, suddenly found herself alone. She knew she couldn't stay there for long. The park was getting dark and the night would be more dangerous for a little girl of her age. As the night descended, Uju found herself walking aimlessly through the empty street in the small city, with tears in her eyes and her stomach rumbling with hunger. She found a small abandoned shelter, hidden from prying eye, and she decided to spend the night there, praying and hoping that no one comes there later that night. Soon it began to rain. Uju laid down to sleep. Her body was trembling from a mixture of grief and fear of being seen by passerby. Days turned into weeks. Uju made the shelter her sleeping place and continued to struggle for survival. She begs for food on the streets, and when she doesn't get much, she scavenges for food in the trash bins. The city had turned its back on her. It was like she doesn't exist. Every night she lay down to sleep, tears runs down her face as she wishes her mother could suddenly appear to embrace her. But life has a way of surprising even the most downtrodden. One cold rainy night, as Uju lay down in her shelter to sleep, she heard a soft voice from the darkness. "Are you okay?" Uju was frightened to death. She peeked out from her shelter to find a young woman with a kind eyes and warm smile. She was holding an umbrella, offering shelter from the rain. Uju couldn't speak or move for a moment, then cautiously she crawled out. The woman introduced herself as Maima. She remembered Uju from the accident and has been looking for her ever since. She listened to Uju's story and felt pity for her. She has been through her own hardships and knew the pain of losing loved ones. Maima didn't just offer shelter to Uju that night, she offered Uju something far more precious. She shared her own experience of overcoming adversity and inspired Uju to believe in herself. Over time, Maima became a mentor and friend to Uju. She helped her find a safe place to stay, enrolled her in school, and provided the guidance and support that had been absent from Uju's life for a long time. As time passed, Uju's life changed. She worked hard in school and discovered a love for mathematics, physics, and chemistry. With Maima's support and guidance, Uju traveled out of the city to study medicine. While the pain of losing her mother could never fully fade, Uju learned to carry that love with her as a source of strength. She had found a new family in Maima and her family, who treated her as one of her own children. And so, the homeless girl who had once lost her way in the darkness of a small city, found her path to a brighter future, guided by the compassion of a stranger who had become her mother and friend. Uju became a successful medical doctor and returned to that small city to help the people of the city. Story ends. I hope you have learned something from this story. Never give up in life. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. If you have enjoyed this story, please subscribe, like and share so we can reach more people. More stories like this to come. Stay safe.